March 8th, 2004 was the last time Steve Moore would ever play professional hockey.
People coming in now, this is it. There'll be no questions for me.
Sorry about, again, what happened out there.
Right.
Todd Bertuzzi was no stranger to controversy when he played in the NHL. Despite that, Bertuzzi still played an incredible 18 seasons, and unfortunately because of Bertuzzi, Steve Moore would only play 3 seasons. 3 weeks before March 8th, Steve Moore would lay a huge hit on Marcus Naslund, giving him a concussion and also giving Bertuzzi the fuel he needed for March 8th. Bertuzzi was challenging Moore to a fight, but Moore didn't want any of it, so Bertuzzi ended up sucker punching Moore, knocking him out cold and breaking 3 vertebrae in his neck. His teammates came to his defense in a line brawl, but the damage was done. 2 days later, Bertuzzi apologized in what a lot of people think is an attempt to save face. In an interview 10 years later, Moore said he still had headaches and low energy, and that his lawsuit against Bertuzzi for $68 million was still in court. As of today, they have settled that lawsuit for an undisclosed amount of money, and Bertuzzi pled guilty to criminal charges regarding the incident. He would make his way into the headlines one more time in 2021 when he was arrested for drunk driving. 2 consecutive seasons where he had the 3rd most assists in the league, only behind Joe Thornton and Sidney Crosby. A 2-time NHL All-Star in 2008 and 2009, Marc Savard was an absolute machine. However, on March 7, 2010, Matt Cook laid a hit onto the head of Savard, resulting in a grade 2 concussion. The hit itself was actually deemed clean, so Cook received no penalty or suspension, although this hit was the main reason the NHL added Rule 48.
I just finished my check. I felt like it was shoulder on shoulder.
Cannot see, I'm legally blind.
Savard tried to come back the following season, but ultimately another hit to the head by Matt Hunwick on Savard would cause his career to come to an end. Although Savard never played another NHL game again, he was still under contract for almost 8 years after this hit by Hunwick, because of a longer contract offered to him before the hit. December 5th, 2011 was the last time Mike Sauer would ever play pro hockey. It was his 2nd season in the NHL. His older brother Kurt played in Phoenix, and his other brother Craig played in the NFL. But thanks to none other than the Leafs captain at the time, Dion Phaneuf,
I have a bigger rear end.
Sauer's NHL career was over. Discussions still pop up to this day whether or not this was a clean hit by Phaneuf, but Phaneuf didn't receive a suspension. The hit itself didn't look dirty, but when Dion threw the puck up the boards, Sauer didn't really have a chance to defend himself. After the hit, Sauer went back to college and is now working in the corporate world. No! Since 2005, there have been 3 NHL players who collapsed on the bench in a game due to cardiac arrest, and all 3 players' stories are eerily similar. They just finished a shift, sat on the bench, then their hearts stopped. Incredibly, the medical staff at the rink was able to stabilize all 3 of them, saving their lives. All 3 games were canceled immediately after this, out of respect for the players. Rich Peverley trained for an entire year hoping to come back to the NHL, but ultimately his doctor said he shouldn't. He's now working for the Dallas Stars as their director of player personnel. Jay Bouwmeester's kept pretty low-key, but he did say in an interview, "I knew I was done essentially when it happened." Unlike everyone else on this list, Alex Galchenyuk ended his own career.
Turn off the camera.
On July 1st, 2023, Galchenyuk signed with the Coyotes, which was a pretty big deal for him because he had some lackluster previous seasons.
Disgusting!
But only 8 days later, Galchenyuk was driving with his dad. Allegedly, he was intoxicated, drove over a curb hitting a sign and hitting a parked car, at which point he fell out of his own car and laid on the ground, where his dad then pulled him back into the car and they drove off before the police could arrive.
Well, that's tough.
When the police caught up to him, it was obvious Alex was heavily intoxicated, so his father tried taking credit for driving the car. And Galchenyuk started saying some pretty insane things. One phone call and you're all dead. Your whole family, your bloodline is dead. I'm gonna chop you, your wife, your daughter. The Scottsdale police ended up arresting him and charging him with 5 different crimes. And 2 days later, the Coyotes placed him on unconditional waivers so that they could terminate his contract. Galchenyuk did write an apology on Twitter that received quite a bit of support, but a situation like this seems like an open and shut case for never being able to return to the NHL. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think a team will take a risk on Galchenyuk again? If you are still watching by this point in the video, I just wanted to give a huge thank you. You are an absolute legend and your bloodline is completely safe. If you did enjoy the video or learn anything new, please drop a like or subscribe to my channel. But otherwise, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Since then, Miller has been tearing it up in the USHL. but let me know in